Marketing trends are significantly overrated. People who work in the marketing industry, they love chasing trends. Trends feel like shortcuts. When something worked somewhere else, copying the same thing feels safer than thinking. Chasing trends can be one of the fastest ways to show the world that as a brand, we are very agile and dynamic. We are relevant and we know what's happening out there. And we are able to react to whatever it is that's happening in nearly real time. So at the first glance, it kind of makes sense. But let me tell you, having spent over 20 years in the marketing industry, working on the agency side, having worked with hundreds and hundreds of clients, more often than not, it's not the case. And to understand the issue, you need to zoom out just a little bit. So pick any brand, zoom out until you reach the time span of at least a year. Pick 5 random posts or content pieces or campaign examples that the brand launched and look for common denominators. Is there the same core backbone underneath all 5 examples that you've chosen? Is there the same message that you can feel regardless of what content form it was, what sort of campaign they launched? Are you being told the same thing underneath? If yes, congratulations, you have found the 1%er, an exception to the rule, because in 99% of the cases, you would not find any common denominators between any random 5 posts that the brand launched. Which means that instead of a constant flow of trendy communication showing the world that this brand is agile and dynamic and up to date and relevant and able to react to everything in real time, you have chaos, which builds 0 brand equity over time. It builds 0 accumulated knowledge in the heads of their intended audience. If as a person approached by the same brand 5, 10, 50, 100 times, you do not accumulate the same core message in your head, the same core meaning that the brand is about, that communication was the waste of time, their time and yours. So when there is a total lack of clarity underneath, no trends will help the brand. Because if the message is vague, chasing trends would simply make the same vagueness louder, perhaps a tiny bit trendier for a while, until the next ship comes along and they jump ship again. I think a suitable metaphor here would be music. So pick any musicians that you like. Now imagine that those musicians, instead of expressing themselves and their worldview, would start chasing trends whenever something new comes along. The end result is not something you would probably enjoy, right? And while it seems that the music and marketing has nothing in common, I think they do. Music also has a structure underneath, which is exactly what separates music that you enjoy from a random set of sounds. And when that underlying backbone is there, then it's obviously up to the musician to express themselves, explain their worldview through music, show how they approach things, and express them freely. But the structure is always there. It's still music. It's not a random set of sounds. I think this metaphor applies to marketing perfectly. If you get the core things right, and then start chasing trends, use creativity, employ creativity to make those things, to amplify those things into something louder, it makes sense. You're still consistent over time. You build brand equity. You are always about the same thing in the eyes of your consumer. But that only works when the underlying structure is there. If there's no underlying structure underneath everything, if there's a lack of clarity, the end result is much closer to chaos than it is to music. So yeah, get the core things right, get the clarity there, and then employ trends and creativity as amplifiers, but not as substitutes to clarity. And if you are wondering, what is this sound next to me? This is my sidekick eating some dead branches of fallen trees. Yeah, peace. Until the next one.